Hi, it's Siege, and we're back out on the floor, and I'm here today with San Diego native musician Lauren James Scheff. Nice to see you again, Lauren.
What's happening? You know what's funny about Facebook is everyone calls me Lauren James Scheff more than ever in my life because it's what we see online all the time. I love my middle name though.
Yeah, I do too. I think I would always call you Lauren James.
Yeah, so many people call me Lauren James. I'm like, I love it. It's awesome. So here we are, NAMM 2019. And I am a native of San Diego. It's pretty much raised in Los Angeles, though. And but San Diego's always been home. And I've spent a lot of time making music down in San Diego, just as much as I did up in LA. And I'm currently in Nashville now. So.
When did you take off for Nashville? About a year and a half ago or so?
Yeah. So I went on a road trip for my mother's birthday, and I decided to go visit her for a couple weeks. And when I was there, I just fell in love with the town, the energy, the music scene, and a bunch of great people I just met of just hanging out up there. And the vibe was so right. And it was it's what music scenes used to be like back in the day. We're missing that today. And that culture, it's all about the music and the songwriting out in Nashville. And I said, okay, I'm going to think about it. A month later, I said, I'm moving to Nashville. And 30 days after that, I was in a flight.
You got to follow your dreams.
Yeah.
Let me ask you about this instrument you got in your hand here. Can you tell us a little bit about what you got going on here?
Yeah. So I'm at NAMM this year, and I work with a couple companies. Lakeland's been one of them. I just celebrated 21 years playing their basses. They gave me my first Lakeland when I was a wee young lad, and I still play them to this day. And even my Lakelands that are 15 and 20 years old, they're my favorite instruments. And of course, there's so many other instruments out there that are great, but they've been so good to me. That's why I just love Lakeland. Ernie Ball's another big, huge supporter of mine. I've been with them for about 12 years, and they're just great for the up-and-coming artists and even the big ones. They treat us all the same. And I'm really sitting here on Bill Asher's past this year because Asher Guitars, makes tons of great lap steel guitars. Ben Harper plays them, and so many people in that genre. But Bill's been starting to make bass pickups. He's mainly a guitar guy, and he sent me a pair of P-bass pickups, and I fell in love with them. So kind of here with Bill, but I'm here with Lakeland and Ernie Ball. Those are my three main companies that take care of me every year to pursue my music.
We're glad you're here. Let's talk about a little bit of the music that you're doing in Nashville. Who you're running around with, who you're making music with, where are your favorite places to hang out. I know you're kind of all over the scene there, so maybe give us a little bit of focus about what's fun going on down there.
So Nashville is a very interesting town. It's there's a few different ways to pursue music in Nashville. You know, you can go out there and be a road musician and just live on the road. You can go down there and be a songwriter. Obviously, you want to become an artist, but songwriting is such a big part of that town. There's also great where a musician can actually make a great living playing in bars downtown Nashville. I didn't believe it until I saw it. So it's crazy because a lot of the guys that work downtown, even in the music scene down there, where I do a lot of work down there, we get road dates. That's where a lot of guys go out with big artists. And part of it is the culture of downtown. It's like boot camp for musicians. So it's tough. It's not for everyone. But if you can get over that hurdle, you're just going to condition yourself as a musician. You'll become better than you realize you were. And that's where a lot of these big artists, they look for their bands through their friends. And I know some guy that plays downtown all the time. He's great. Or another dude in Midtown. So I'm focusing on right now just breaking in through that scene. And this year my goals are going to be focused more into the production side of things, working with some producers this year, and ideally getting on a cut, and that's a hit, and then that's where the career can blossom. I'd rather sit in a nice air-conditioned studio than in a bus traveling the country or downtown in a bar. I love all of it, though. I'm very grateful.
You come from quite a musical family.
I do.
Can we talk a little bit about the brothers and your family? And you've got, is it a niece?
I do. I'll give you the rundown.
Okay, let's do that.
It's a huge pedigree.
Okay.
it actually goes back to our grandfather. He was a bass player. He played with Doris Day and Bing Crosby. His name was Joseph Lee. And our father, Jerry Scheff, was a huge session bass player in L.A. Ended up touring with Elvis Presley from 1969 to 77 until Elvis died. Played on a couple iconic records like L.A. Woman with the Doors. Did a world tour with Bob Dylan, and went out with John Denver for many years and with Elvis Costello. And then my second oldest brother, Jason Scheff, he's a phenomenal bass player and singer. And Jason, at the age of 23, joined the band Chicago as their lead singer and bass player. He replaced Peter Cetera. And he was with them for 31 years, and my brother just finally retired. And wants to be home with his family and just kind of ease up on life. 31 years with any job is a long time, so, and he did a good job.
That's an awesome run.
Also, my little niece Lauren is a bass player, but I have two other nephews. JJ, who goes by Reaper on, I think that's his handle on SoundCloud or on Instagram. That's Jason's son, and JJ is a phenomenal musician, and his new EP is called Hetty. We're so proud of the next generation of kids, and it's just, we were raised around so much music that, you know, we all say it's in the blood, but it is, but it's really, we all have this, we are surrounded by it so much, and some of us just go after it, and some of us don't, and the ones that do end up being phenomenal musicians in our family, so I'm very proud of our pedigree. It's amazing.
You got the next generation up and coming. Is Lauren, are you the namesake for Lauren?
Well, that's still up for debate. Darren, we haven't figured that out yet. No. The word is, he thought it was just a great name. I'm like, well, of course it's a great name. It's my name. I don't know. The jury's still out.
So, where can we find you around the internet? What's going on?
I try my best to hide from everyone on the internet. I feel probably Instagram would probably be the easiest. It's my last name, Scheff Music, SCHEFF Music. Is my handle at Instagram. That's really where I'm too old to be on these Snapchats and all these other. Yeah, that's too much for me. Yeah.
Well, I enjoy following you on Facebook.
Yeah, you get the privilege of that, you know, because we're real friends here in real life, and we get to hang in that world and see how crazy it is.
And I follow you on Instagram too. Well, I appreciate you taking the time with me and letting me come by and say hello. I miss you in San Diego. And
Chris Wilson, I miss tremendously.
I do too. He, LA, buried him, and we haven't seen him in forever.
That's what brought us together. See, music does that. That's what I love about music. It can bring people together, and we're sitting here because of Chris Wilson. It's amazing.
Yep. Well, I still see Joe Cardillo, though.
Yes, I love Joe.
Yeah, he's great. He's great. Okay, well, we're going to wrap it up here. Thank you so much, Lauren.
Thank you.
Siege, we'll see you out on the floor.
Hey guys, this is the Rock Man. I'm here with DJ from Vigier Guitars. We're going to talk a little bit about the 2019 models of their new instruments. And without further ado, let's talk to DJ.
Yeah, thanks. So this is our newest model this year. This is the GV Hollow. The GV was introduced 10 years ago in 2009, and to celebrate the 10th anniversary, we decided to do something we've never done before, which is a hollow body instrument. Now, just like all of our instruments, features our patented 1090 neck system. So all the guitars and all the basses are all 10% carbon and 90% maple for the necks. And what that does is it gives you all the same stability and stiffness of a fully carbon neck, but it gives you the tone and feel of maple. The philosophy of Vigier's since day one has always been to make the ultimate player's guitar. So the guitar is supposed to get out of your way. So with the 1090 neck system, there's no truss rod. You never need to adjust it. You never need to get it set up. We use stainless steel frets on everything, so the frets never wear out, or if they do, it's going to take you a long-ass time to do it. We use proprietary hardware and pickups. These are wound by a company in Germany called Amber Pickups. It's a small company, and they wind them specifically for our instruments. We also use DiMarzios and EMGs and stuff like that. And the bridge on this is also proprietary, like almost all of our bridges. And you can see it's It's super comfortable. There's like no sharp edges and points and stuff like that. And also every individual component locks in place. So once you set your intonation, you lock the set screw and it never moves. And when you change your strings, like the tailpiece itself is actually locked on the post, so it doesn't fall off the post and scratch up your guitar and all that stuff.
Yeah, I like that a lot, man.
Yeah.
That's a cool feature right there. You know, lock all the intonation in, guys, instead of the old days, man, having to mess with it every month.
Yeah, exactly. And we use Teflon nuts on everything, so there's no resistance at the nut. If you bend or if you use one of our trims, it's not going to get bound up. And because Teflon's so soft, we use a 0 fret to actually do the string height at the nut end. And even though they're stainless steel, because there's always string pressure on them, they do wear out. And so the 0 frets are all replaceable. You just pop it out with a guitar pick, you pop a new one back in, and you're ready to rock.
Yeah, I like the natural binding too.
Yep, straight binding's cool. Yeah, this is anti-tobacco burst in a matte finish, and that is the GV
Now,
Hollow.
question,
Sure.
any of these models, if a customer wants to get something special, they contact you and...
Yeah, all the sales are done through our dealers, which all can be found in the USA on VigierUSA.com, or you can go to VigierGuitars.com, find our worldwide distributors. And yeah, I mean, we have a set, we're not exactly a custom shop. You know, we have a set amount of parameters and options, but you know, we make something for everybody. As you can see, you know, make a lot of different body styles, different pickup configurations, and what have you.
Yeah, so option-wise, pickups, pretty
So
much.
Pickups, colors, fretboard material, that kind of stuff, you know.
Any kind of exotic woods or anything like that, or you try to stay...
Not really. We source all of our wood in France, besides the rosewood, which obviously doesn't grow in France. And what we do is we buy our wood by the tree. So all the maple and all the alder comes from French forests as a tree, and it's cut into slabs, and we air dry it for a minimum of 3 years before we even touch it. After that time, and since we're so backlogged on orders right now, it's usually like 5 years before they get turned into bodies and necks. After that, they get cut and they get to air dry for at least another year after they're glued up and set up for final, you know, sanding and preparation. So to introduce another wood is something that we got to think way in advance. You know, it's like, you know, we got to know half a decade in advance what we want to do. So sometimes we'll do walnut or some other French wood. We have done mahogany in the past on a couple instruments, but it's not, you know, the wood choices, the aesthetics to us is not worth the sacrifice in the preparation. So that's
No,
why we
I
stick to
get
what we
that.
do.
I get that. Yeah, some people ask. That's why I asked the question.
Yeah, everybody wants to know.
Now, as far as artists that are using your instruments, anybody we know?
Well, Bumblefoot has been with us since 1997. He'll be here this year at NAMM. He plays obviously his double neck signature, and you know, Sean Lane used to play our instruments. Guthrie Govan plays our fretlesses.
Love Guthrie.
Yeah, Guthrie's the best. Super sweet dude. Roger Glover's been playing our basses since 1986. Stanley Jordan's had the exact same guitar since 1986. So, yeah, I mean, a lot of really important figures in music, in rock, in metal, and jazz. So, yeah.
Well, I mean, NAMM is where it's all about. You guys get to come here, show off all your new stuff for the year, meet new artists, make relationships, you know, and build your brand.
Yeah, absolutely. That's what it's all about. That's what we're here for.
All right, guys, you heard it here at Backstage 360. This is the Rockman with my boy DJ from Vigier, and we'll be keeping you abreast of what he's doing all throughout the year.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
This is Bill at Backstage360.com. We're here Thursday at NAMM on the showroom floor, and we're talking to Mr. Eddie Kramer. Hi, Eddie.
Good morning. I think it's still morning.
You think it's still morning? Not quite sure. Not enough coffee?
Not enough excitement. Well, we just did a waves thing over there, and that was pretty cool.
So that looked very, very interesting, very historical. Can you tell us just a little bit about the project?
Well, what we're doing is we're celebrating the 50th anniversary of Electric Ladyland. I just was working on this massive project for about 4 or 5 months. The album came out about 6-8 weeks ago, and There's a CD box set as well as a vinyl box set, and it's incredibly complete. It shows Jimmy's drawings, his layouts for the album, outtakes, the original album remastered, a Hollywood Bowl performance, but one of the most really interesting things is a 5.1 surround sound remix, which I did taking the original 1-inch 12-track tapes and totally recreating what I did 50 years ago. And you hear Jimmy's guitar doing this in the room, and it's so scary and cool. Bring many pairs of underwear when you listen to this.
To put the whole album together, or put that one song together and kind of give us a feeling about the fullness and the richness and just the loud of Jimmy. How long did you work on this project?
Well, we started probably about 9 months ago. It's Janie Hendrix, myself, and John McDermott. I call ourselves, we're the power trio. We do all of Jimmy's music. And I'm very honored still and so excited. Anytime we start a new Hendrix project, it's going to be full of crazy things that we dig up. You know, we're playing the tapes and we're listening, and there's Jimmy talking to Chaz and then to me, and then he's taking the piss out of me and Mitch. And it's always fun. These sessions are we always have a good laugh, because that's how the music was in those days. If you weren't laughing, you weren't having a good time, what's the point?
Well, it sounds like they had a lot of people come in, and you guys played a lot in the studio, Jimmy by himself, putting pieces together and kind of orchestrating how he wanted his vision, his things, with you kind of encouraging him a little bit in some areas and then just letting him flow in others. It must have been a very intricate work relationship and fun relationship between the two of you.
I think you said it, the intricate work relationship, and that's really what it was. That's very true. Genius, no question about it. Jimi Hendrix was the greatest guitar player of all time. That's a given. But working in the room with him, when he walks in the room, everything lights up. And the man has a vision about how to take a song from its infancy, from the demo that you hear, all the way through the stages of tracking, overdubbing, and then the final mix. And that's when things get really crazy, because the two of us are working together. There's no computers. There's 4 hands on the console. And we just laugh our asses off. That was it.
It's quite a history you have with all of this, Eddie, and it's so good that you can keep it alive, bring new things forward that people haven't heard before. Especially, I mean, more and more I see people like to hear what was going on in the background, what were the stories, what were the things that were going on in the studio that most people don't get a chance to see, and you bring some of that and some of the history forward with it too.
Thank you, I appreciate that. Yes, there's a big history there, but you know what's cool? Music today, if I get one request, I must be getting like 50 every month. Hey, how did you get that cool vintage sound? Well, if you want to work with me, and a lot of bands are coming to me trying to sort of take the vintage sound from 40, 50 years ago and incorporating it into their music. And I have a way of doing that now, and I'm working with a lot of bands that are very into the vintage thing, but totally in the moment of contemporary music.
Well, from the analog to the digital world and all the software that's being written to try to either recreate or come up with new ideas with it, and taking the old material and put it through the new material or the new stuff to try to give it a more richness that maybe you didn't have with the analog in the studio.
Yeah, I mean, working with analog is a trick. I mean, you really have to know what you're doing. And fortunately, there's a few of us out there who's still capable of doing it, like Al Schmidt. God, I wish I was Al Schmidt.
Yeah.
When I grow up, I want to be him. He's 88, I think. I'm 76, and we're still cranking. So we still have something valid to say. There's a band I'm working with in Toronto that is amazing. I've got bands here in California. I mean, I'm going to see another band in Ohio. It never stops.
And it never will, and it'll keep you young.
Thank you.
Well, Eddie, Thank you so much for taking a few moments after that presentation. Totally appreciate it. Appreciate you being here. Thank you so much. And
Rock and roll, it saves your life.
yes, it does. This is Will at Backstage360.com with Mr. Eddie Kramer. Thank you so much. We'll see you on the floor.
Horizontally? No, vertically.